That field goal, John Biskup is now second on the all-time scoring list. He has 223 points. Adrian Walker, the deep back. Pat O'Neill, last kick was uncharacteristically short, hit it to 15. This one's going into the end zone and will not be returned. It hit 9 yards deep, and the Longhorns will start at their own 20-yard line. Bob Casulo out on the field to congratulate Pat O'Neill.
As far as the kicking game goes, Biskup has to be pleased after not getting any of the three he tried in East Carolina, getting the first one, and O'Neill comes back after, as you said, less than stellar kick for him to start the game, and he puts it right out of the end zone.
On the first possession of the game, in fact, the first play from scrimmage, Syracuse recorded a sack of Peter Gardere. Next week, the Ohio State Buckeyes here to meet the Orangemen. We'll have it for you. On first down, the short side pitch. And JoJo Wooden from behind to bring down the ball carrier, Adrian Walker, a fifth-year player out of Tyler, Texas, the hometown of one Earl Campbell, the Tyler Rose.
We talked last week, Texas' first game, they had an almost even distribution of running and passing plays. 36 passing attempts, 35 rushing attempts. So, at least coming in, they have been balanced in that respect.
Syracuse stays in their rush defense, at least personnel-wise. Here's Gardere on the give. They tried the inside of the Syracuse line. They didn't get much, did they?
Mitchell on the bottom helps up Texas player, as I believe the running game, not very effective for East Carolina last week, is being controlled at least this point by Syracuse.
Now they take out Garland Hawkins and JoJo Wooden. Chip Todd back in along with Bryce Bevel. So on the previous series, they took Todd out in a passing situation. Now he's come in.
He's probably going to rush. He's at the top of the screen.
Syracuse defensive backs a little unsure as to their assignment. You saw Bevel rush to the top of the screen. Here's Gardere out of the shotgun. He's got a first down catch and a short-handed tackle made by Dwayne Joseph on Kenny Neal. You can't allow him to turn the corner there and get down the sideline.
Gardere, nice throw after the series before when he threw that one into the turf. He hit Neal and picked up the first down.
This is the 100th year of football at Texas, and they're wearing commemorative patches on their uniform. You see it on the left shoulder. Syracuse later this season will play their 1,000th football game. Gardere on first down now at the 35-yard line. He's 1 out of 3 for 9 yards. And he looks to the air again. And he's going deep down the middle. There's the target, Lavelle Pinckney. And it takes 3 men to bring him down. Tony Jones brings down the man that Syracuse recruited but could not corral from Washington, D.C., Lavelle Pinckney. That's his 4th catch in this, his 2nd collegiate game.
It's interesting. Watch where Pinckney ends up. You look at Gardere. Good protection this time. Look where Pinckney is. There he is, right in front, under everybody. They were all going back. No under help there, and Pinckney caught it in front of the safeties and up with another first down as Texas has a drive.
Pinckney with his first catch of the game, 4 on the year. Reminds you of Rob Moore with that tall, athletic body. Now in Syracuse territory, Gardere again with some pressure. Down he goes. JoJo Wooden gets sack number 2. The brother of Seattle Seahawk linebacker Terry Wooden, the former Syracuse player from Hartford, Connecticut.
Going to take a look at a little replay here. You can see the end zone look as Gardere gets the hit. Both sides, Hawkins and Wooden, both penetrated, but Wooden got the sack, his 2nd of the day.
Looked like he was looking at only one wide receiver, the man going over the middle.
Peripheral vision failed him.
2nd down and 18. Gardere on the draw play. Adrian Walker cut inside, cut outside, and back inside, and he is running well. Very well, down to the 35-yard line.
He's able to start and stop, and Syracuse not able to get a good shot on him. He picks up a lot of what they needed, brings up to about 3rd and 6.
13-yard pickup there for Adrian Walker. And in the game now, Walker's accounted for 20 yards and 4 carries. John Makovic was a quarterback at Wake Forest in the backfield that included the late Brian Piccolo. Now the crowd responding on 3rd down and 5. A deep shotgun drop by Gardere. And he's got a first down catch. A nice hook pattern by Justin McLemore, the sophomore from Waxahachie, at the Syracuse 21-yard line. They found the seam.
Yep.
They found the spot.
And Gardere, David, throwing well, I think, for a guy who was not a throwing quarterback when he came 5 years ago.
Not particularly stylish.
Right.
But he's getting the job done now as he heats up. He's completed 3 in a row for 49 yards, 3 out of 5. Big 3rd down conversion. Split backs now. Phil Brown and Adrian Walker. Pinckney's to the right. Here's the pitch back to Walker.
That's a little cutback by Walker. And that's him about 3.
Big drive here for Texas. They're down 3-0. Trying to get a first quarter score for the first time in 16 games.
Well, they got 4:25 left to do it in.
Fresh wide receiver comes in the game. Kenny Neal. 3 wideouts this time, as a matter of fact. Eric Jackson is in the slot right. There he is at the bottom. Draw play again. They broke the tackle of JoJo Wood and did Roderick Walker, sophomore from Irving, Texas. And we'll get a 3rd down coming up now and another key play.
I was going to say the strategy seems to be to run when they think you're going to pass, and pass sometimes you think you're going to run. And Texas has got to do about 3 or 4 yards of either to get a first down.
Syracuse keeps in their normal defensive alignment. You see the Longhorns have been successful on 3rd down. Mike Adams is in the slot. Straight drop back. Pressure from the safety. The catch. Will it be a first down or not? It may be spotted.
Folks don't like the spot.
It is spotted beyond the first down marker,
Yep.
so it is a Texas first down at the 10-yard line.
You know, I think it's just in. I don't think they can get a first down now.
But they have 4 cracks from outside the 10. You're right. They cannot pick up another first down. Virtually can, unless they get it very close to the goal line. Here are the Longhorns on the march.
They were working a lot on those fade patterns, Dave, timing patterns.
Now David Bearden is the slot. He becomes an extra blocker, a tight end on the right side. Gardere on the handoff. Good inside running room for Adrian Walker. Hawkins and Glenn Young brought him down, but he gets down to about the 7-yard line. So the defense unable to come up with a stop on this drive. Texas began back in their 20-yard line.
You see the Texas huddle.
8 passes, 9 runs so far by Texas. Very, very balanced. Syracuse sent Bob Grosvenor crashing in on that last play against the run. Here's Adrian Walker trying the middle route. JoJo Wooden from behind. Chip Todd over the top at the 5-yard line. Syracuse leads at 3-0 with 2:15 to go in the first quarter.
Adrian Walker likes to set people up and then cut back against the grain. You got to have good pursuit, and you can't over pursue. You see somebody laid a lick on his helmet. See the orange paint? That's Syracuse orange, not Texas burnt orange. So Adrian Walker has had a lot of action.
You mean you could really tell by that smudge on the helmet?
That's right, all the way up here.
Quarterback Gardere says something to his fullback as they get set. Brown and Walker. That's Brown going in motion. He looks to the end zone. Touchdown! Kenny Neal stepping in front of Dwayne Joseph. And the Texas Longhorns get on the scoreboard in the first quarter. And Texas takes the lead 6-3. The 22nd touchdown pass of Peter Gardere's career.
Very tough to stop because you're going to get the inside spot up in the left-hand corner of the screen. He's going to cut right in front. See him step now. There's nobody there. Somebody's got to either drop back and try to be able to tip that ball, but otherwise, that is is an inevitable conclusion.
Now, if you're the defensive back, do you want to give him the inside route, or are your chances better to allow him to go outside where there's less field to contend with?
You know, that's why defensive backs like Deion Sanders make so much money. It's a very difficult position to play.
Scott Chiaretti adds the extra point, and Texas leads Syracuse 7-3. We're back with our Super Sports coverage right after these words. 7-3 on the 22nd touchdown pass of Peter Gardere's career, and he's now only just 3 behind the record held by Bobby Lane. Gardere throwing the touchdown pass to Kenny Neal, the junior out of Memphis, and that was a well-executed, well-planned drive. So Syracuse down now 7-3. In a couple of weeks, the Orangemen on the road next in Louisville to take on Howard Schnellenberger's Cardinals. If you live in New York State, you'll have a chance to watch that game live on pay-per-view. Check with your local cable system. That's in 2 weeks. Right here for the first time this year, Syracuse is behind in a game, and there is Qadry Ismail, the missile, standing at about his own 8-yard line. So far, the game has accounted for 40 yards of total offense, a run of 28, a reception for 12. Here is Chiaretti's kick on the ground. It's squibbing to the up back, played by Marcus Lee, the fullback, and he takes it to the 41-yard line.
He'll take that every time. That's what Ismail gives you back there. People are going to say, I am not going to kick it to him. I will just dump it short along the ground and see what happens. And Lee, backup fullback, got it out to the 41-yard line. So great field position for Syracuse.
Now Syracuse keeps Ismail and Antonio Johnson in the game. They're flanked out to the right. Graves on first down. The option back to David Walker. Walker lowers the boom, and David Walker has about 6, maybe 7 yards up to the 47-yard line. David Walker ran very well with 95 yards at East Carolina, the defending Big East rushing champ.
He's like a Clydesdale, you know. The guy just keeps working, and you're never going to have a bad play, I think, when you get him the ball.
You have 1 minute 9 seconds to go in the first quarter. This time Antonio Johnson is sent out to the left. Gedney is in the slot. There is the wishbone. Now Gedney back in. Lance Gunn, number 16, up in the line of scrimmage. There's the fullback, Al Wooten, and they shut him down pretty quickly. That's the middle linebacker, Winfred Tubbs, who makes the stop on Al Wooten.
He comes up just a little short. That worked very well. The fullback position got a lot of yardage against East Carolina, Dave. Quick little traps up inside and line up in that wishbone, get people thinking outside. You want to contain that pitch and then just drive it up inside.
Syracuse has brought another Texan into their lineup. Eric Chenoweth will be the tight end on the left side. Syracuse goes at double tight ends on third down at about 1.5 yards. Terry Richardson in the backfield now. That's the time remaining in the quarter. David Walker is hit and dropped short of the first down. Getting inside penetration, Kevin Watler, the junior from Houston. And before Syracuse decides what they'll do on fourth down, the first quarter has come to an end with the score, Texas 7, Syracuse 3.
Into the first quarter. As you can see, the Texas band made the trip to Syracuse. I think that's great. It adds to the pageantry of college football here at the Carrier Dome. But, you know, I was a little bit disappointed that Bevo, the live steer mascot for the Longhorns, did not make the trip up to Syracuse. Apparently, he does travel a little bit. He'll go to the Texas A&M game. He'll go to the Astrodome and see Texas take on Houston. But he doesn't travel this far to Syracuse. And Bevo might be happy about that, because after one big win over Texas A&M in 1920, they threw a big banquet and ate the mascot as steak. So he's probably delighted he did not come up to Syracuse today.
All right, thanks, Dan Hort. One quarter complete, and Texas dominating the offense with 102 total yards, 66 for Syracuse, and very even between their passing and running. 10 running plays, 9 passes, Dale.
Yep. Hitting it right on the button. Little high snap. Let's see what...
O'Neal, a wobbler off the side of his foot. is going to be ruled out of bounds at the 39-yard line. That's only a 10-yard punt.
And no one is more disappointed than O'Neill. That is not a typical kick. He tried to put a little something on it to send it down deep. You can see he just didn't boot it. But as you said, it hurt.
So only a 10-yard punt by Pat O'Neill. 12 officially as they spot it now at the 38-yard line. And Paul Pasqualoni's defense on the team. They're down 7-3. Gardere on the short side pitch back. Walker cutting it back again and breaking enough tackles to get across the 45-yard line. The ball came out after Walker hit the turf. It's not a fumble.
That is his style. He runs that cutback almost every time he carries the ball. You got to have good pursuit lanes when somebody cuts back against you. He has picked up about 7 on that.
He has 35 yards rushing. His high game in his career is 75. So Adrian Walker getting the job done here for Texas. Gardere looking to the air, a dump off, and Phil Brown wasn't ready to receive that. So he's got a 3rd down and about 4 coming up.
Not a bad pass, but you're right, the receiver was not ready. Coach B stalking the sideline. Let's check that play out. There's the Syracuse secondary moving off on the snap. And then you see him react as the ball was very short. Big 3rd down play.
And they run it with Walker again. He's got one man to beat at the corner. He gets by Jones. He's down to the 35 and run out of bounds.
They got a great block at the point of attack.
Adrian Walker running by Syracuse, first inside, and that time outside.
He is having a career day, picking up a little more orange on that helmet every time he carries the ball, but Syracuse has not been able to stop number 36. First down at the 35.
So now Texas in Syracuse territory again, and those Longhorns are smelling upset early. David Bearden is the tight end left, number 85. Here's a reverse, perhaps. No, it's a fake. And there's Walker again. Nice tackle by Joseph, who stayed at home. And he upended Adrian Walker.
See what they give Walker's progress. Picked up about 2.
Dwayne Joseph very busy all over the field.
Well, they get to that corner in a big hurry. And they ran the little fake reverse. Try to keep those corners honest and hope that they can run the reverse the next time.
Syracuse with 3 linebackers now. Todd, Conley, and Young. On a 2nd down and 7 look, Peter Gardere. Orange get back on side, or did they?
Apparently not. That's a free 5 yards if that's what it is. Syracuse a little bit ragged here, unless this is, they may be the beneficiaries of a procedure against, yes. Now that's got to pick up this defense. They got to now hold this Texas team. They got the break. They got the 5-yard penalty. They shift some personnel in. Wooden comes out. Todd comes out. Hobson's out. They've got the faster Greco in at linebacker. Let's see what happens as the passing situation evolves for Texas.
Out of the split back set, Gardere dumps it underneath, and the catch is made for a pickup to the 34-yard line. The catch made on the play.
Now, they got a couple of sacks on Gardere early from the outside, but he's been getting better protection and not taking the long pattern. He's throwing it short.
That was Curtis Jackson on that last catch. They shuttle running backs and wide receivers in. Now they're faced with 3rd down and 9. Probably out of field goal range. Maybe in 4-down territory. Gardere doing a good job of audibling. Uses his foot for the count. Here's the rush. And Bryce Bevel with a sack of Gardere. Conley came on one side and Bevel from the other. Third sack of the game by the Orangemen.
Bevel usually in the 5 defensive back set. He just took off and flew. You'll see him from the right side.
He's lined up opposite the wide receiver.
That's right. He just cuts right inside. See, the man there didn't know whether to go after him, and he let him go. And, of course, Gardere then saw him coming, had to hold on to the ball, tried to run for his life. But Bevel, a big sack, forces a punt, and they don't even get a chance to try that field goal.
McClanahan back to punt. Shelby Hill waiting at his 10. McClanahan will probably put this one in the end zone unless he can cough and corner it.
Nice kick.
They have coverage behind Shelby Hill. That's why he had to catch it on the fly for the fair catch. We've got a timeout with Texas in the lead, 7-3. In the lead, Syracuse has run only 9 plays. Texas has had 25 offensive plays. And in the first quarter, Syracuse's backfield tandem of Walker and Wooten took every snap. They did alternate the wide receivers. Ismail, Hill, and Gedney were in for 9 plays. Antonio Johnson for 8. Gary Farrell for 1.
Well, it's incumbent upon the offense. They have to answer the challenge. The defense gave them a break. They've got to do something with it.
Marcus Lee is the fullback on this series. Gary Farrell, the wide receiver, in motion. And Graves on the handoff to Terry Richardson. He finds his hole running north and south, and he gets to the 21-yard line. That'll be another first down. Richardson, a purposeful runner here in the early portion of 1992.
Well, you know, I think they do what you do best. They ran inside, had good luck running inside against East Carolina. They got nice blocking there. Kyle Adams threw a good block and opened up that hole off the right side as he pulled through.
Farrell and Hill slotted left. Ismail not in on this series. Gedney is a tight end right. This is Richardson again. And he was pulled down from behind as he just fought his way back to the line of scrimmage. Stop on the play made by 45, Bo Robinson. That's Leon Fuller, the veteran Texas defensive coordinator. He was there under Fred Akers. He was there under David McWilliams, and he is still there now under John Mackovich.
That's unusual. Let's check this out. Watch the blocking. Breaks down. Bull can't push him completely out of the play, and you saw number 45, Bo Robinson.
Option to Richardson. They've got the play diagnosed. He's doing it by himself, and he gets knifed down at the 26-yard line. Terry Richardson had his blocker stripped as he came toward the right corner. Brady Cavness up to make the stop. It's third down now and about 7.
Well, this is a big one right here. Syracuse has to keep the offensive momentum going.
This is a series of possession in which Syracuse came out determined to establish the running game. Now they'll have to throw it on third down and 7 in all likelihood.
Once again, you notice Texas plays tight up to that line of scrimmage. They got a lot of people within 5 yards of the ball.
And Syracuse has only one man in the backfield. Marcus Lee, as you see Richardson lined up as a receiver, and Graves under pressure. Now Graves will run it. Graves will get the first down on the scramble up to about the 37-yard line. Marvin Graves showing the elusiveness that he had as a freshman. Did not appear to have as a sophomore, and now he gets it back here in his junior year. It's a scrambling first down for Marvin Graves.
Bo Robinson really put the pressure on him from the left side of the Syracuse formation, the Texas right. He was in there on Marvin Graves, forced him to look for a hole. Fortunately for Syracuse, he ran a broken field play, got up through a hole, and got a first down.
Big third down conversion that time by Syracuse. Ismail still not in on this possession. Graves with the option look. Now the fade back, pop pass. Shelby Hill, he's got a first down. He's to midfield. He's knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That was not the freeze fade option, just the stop and pop. Syracuse picks up their 5th first down of the game, the first on a pass.
They pull Wisdom over, Seals on the outside to pick up anybody coming by, and then Graves just kind of off his back foot. Shelby Hill, and Hill, a good runner, knocked out of bounds, back a bit from where you saw it on that shot, but a first down nonetheless for Syracuse.
Shelby with his first catch today. He had 3 last week. Lee and Richardson stay in the backfield. That's Kerry Farrell, 82. And here's the bootleg action by Marvin Graves. He wants to go deep. He's got Gedney, and he has it at the 8-yard line. Chris Gedney with the catch, 32 yards, and Syracuse sets up shop at the 8-yard line. Here it is, Dale.
Watch Terrence Wisdom, 68. You're just going to see him here. He's the guy who makes the last block because Graves would have been in big trouble, but the guard pulls back and picks up the last. Watch this, Texas, right there. See him knocking. Now watch him set him up. Now Wisdom comes back and leaves that alley right down the middle, and you can see breaking right down the hash mark is Gedney, and he cuts it right on the hash.
Saving tackle made on the play deep downfield for Texas by Van Malone. Now his mile in the game in the wishbone set. He's there with Lee and Richardson, and Graves is going to sprint with an escort. Marvin takes it down to about the 2-yard line. The wishbone was an escort service.
Well, you know, that's the beautiful thing about the wishbone. You got 3 guys who can get in front of your quarterback in a hurry and watch them all go. Oh, they give a little bit of counter option look, but then there's 3 guys. Let's see. Richardson picks off one right there. Wisdom takes the guy in back, and Marvin Graves knows what to do when he gets down there. An excellent runner.
Short yardage situation now. It is Walker, Wooten, and Richardson behind Marvin Graves. Normally, David Walker is your money man in close. On 1st and goal, 7:49 to go in the half. 7-3 Texas. It is Walker. And it is Walker shy of the goal line. He got to about the 1.
There's a good close-up look at David Walker out of Arundecoit High School near Rochester. And now it's 3rd, and the ball just the nose of it on the 1-yard line. Let's see where they go.
David Walker has scored 18 touchdowns in his Syracuse career, and he's also thrown for 2 touchdown passes. 3rd down, and 1 for a touchdown. It is a touchdown. Al Wooten out of Niagara Falls got into the end zone, and Syracuse takes the lead back right now at 9-7 on the touchdown run by big Al Wooten.
There was a flag on the play, but it was against Texas. It will be declined. Texas gets offside. See him in the zone right there. Ball snap.
Here's a reverse angle look at it, and look how low Wooten gets.
You talk about low. He was digging worms. There aren't any synthetic turf, but he was down there burning worms.
David Walker discussing
the white team
the penalty.
Was offsides during the score. The score counts. The penalty will be on the kickoff.
David, in his role as a co-captain, learns that the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Kevin Mason is on to hold. See Gedney over the football now. He can shovel that ball back and initiate the play, as he did last week at East Carolina after the first touchdown. But on that play, Syracuse still had a couple of extra men in the end zone celebrating the touchdown. Now Biscabon for the extra point. Out of the hole to Kevin Mason. It's up and good. And Syracuse has a 10-7 lead. So we've got 6:51 to play in this first half. Syracuse 10, Texas 7. 10-7 that play. That drive culminating in the touchdown. 90 yards. They started
drive.
back at their 10.
Look at what happens when the ball goes down. In East Carolina, I noticed that usually the strings, you want the strings facing forward towards the goalpost. Those are on an angle. They've been very consistent. They did at East Carolina. I saw the first extra point. I'm just curious about that.
And as we said, a 90-yard drive, 9 plays. In case you're wondering, Qadri Ismail was in on only 1 play in that drive. Here's Dan Horn.
All right, Dave, it certainly points out the incredible balance that Syracuse has on offense this season. To note that is Syracuse's 7th touchdown of the year. They've been scored by 7 different people. Last week, 6 different guys scored. Wooten was not one of them, so he adds his name to the list early this afternoon.
All right, here's Pat O'Neill now to kick off from the 40-yard line in the middle of the field, and it will not be returned. Thought for a minute he might split the uprights. Adrian Walker caught it in the back of the end zone, and the Texas Longhorns again will begin at their 20.
Now the challenge for the Syracuse defense as the offense rose to the occasion is let's get some pressure on Gardere when he's passing. We got to stop those little passes, and most of all, we got to stop Walker, the running back, who is having almost a career day.
Peter Gardere, 6 out of 9, 54 yards.
I think we said Walker's finest hour was 75 yards. He's inching his way up toward that.
Now the Texas Longhorns go trips to the right. 3 wide receivers right, the bootleg, and Wooden missed the sack. Gardere now running for his life. He's going to get a first down. What a play by Peter Gardere. Jerry Wooden, or maybe JoJo Wooden, had the easy sack on Peter Gardere, and he let him out of his grasp.
Would have been his third had he completed it, but Wooden was there. But it gives you a good look at what Gardere can do running the football, because he showed good speed, I thought, Dave.
Yeah, he did. Now trips to the left. 1 setback, 3 wide receivers out to the left. Gardere is going to give it to that one back. And Curtis Jackson is brought down after a gain of about 2 yards. So now the Texas Longhorns will have 2nd down and 7 or perhaps 8. They're trailing 10-7, but playing well and mixing it up on offense.
Some people in on defense. Number 93, Emil Palmer, in for Syracuse on this defensive series, replacing Mitchell. Along with Ernie Brown, the 2 down linemen. Hawkins and Wooden on the ends, the linebackers.
Now Texas trying to align themselves. Gardere has time to step up. He goes deep, intercepted by Grosvenor. Intended for Duke, and Bob Grosvenor has the Syracuse interception. The junior out of Elmira with his first career pickoff.
Gardere's upset. We knew coming in, Dave, he throws a lot of interceptions. He threw some last week. Let's see this, though. He saw the linebackers look like a blitz. And then Grosvenor underneath coverage, and Joseph coming in and back, and 1 solo tackle, 1 assist, and 1 interception.
And we'll be back right after this official timeout. Grosvenor sets up Syracuse on their own 47-yard line. The Orangemen leading in the game by a 10-7 score. Excellent field position. This time the wideouts will be Antonio Johnson and Kadri Ismail. The 3rd fullback of the game is in, Brian Pacucci.
You can see how many people from Texas are up within 3 or 4 yards of the ball. You've got 8 guys very tight to the line of scrimmage.
Graves using the long count, down to 2 on the play clock. Now the pitch back to Walker. He has to pull it down from up high. Kyle Adams throwing a good block out on the corner, and Walker ends up underneath the Texas bench. He has himself a very nice pickup at the 11 yards.
Bo Robinson is creating some problems. Watch 45 come across. This is going to be the intercepted pass. They showed blitz, then Conley and company drop back, and this is a little underthrown. Grosvenor has to go way up, but it's a perfect leap. The timing there is critical for that. It might have been just an incomplete pass. As it was an interception.
Syracuse has run 15 running plays. They've thrown the ball only 4 times. Ismail is in the slot to the right. Antonio Johnson will be outside of him. Brady Cavness, man-to-man coverage on Ismail. Here's the quick pitch back to Walker. He's got to go outside around Pacucci's block. Good stiff arm by David Walker. And now he goes up over the Syracuse bench. He went east and west, and then he finally turned it upfield for a short gain. About a yard and a half.
I was talking about Bo Robinson. You see somebody make the penetration. Oftentimes they're optioning that man. In other words, when he comes across, the idea is not to even block him. Let him come across, and he's going to force the pitch, but he's taking himself out of the play.
David with 6 carries and 23 yards. Lined up behind Brian Picucci. It's 2nd down and 9.
Lots of guys up there for Texas. Tough to run.
They are going to fake the run and throw it in the flat and over the head of Ismail, and as well it went over the head of Grady Cavness. Ismail looked back as if to see whether Cavness would have a play on that ball, because he knew what that could mean when it went over his head.
Fortunately, Cavness was playing him, because had he just been back there playing center field, that ball would have been right in his hands, and it would have been 6 points. Cavness, an excellent defensive back for Texas, but Syracuse fortunate, but it brings up 3rd and 9. Let's see what they do here.
That was intended to be the quick screen to Ismail. Now a new formation, a double wing formation with Ismail on one wing, Walker on the other, Picucci, and now as Ismail goes in motion, they have 3 wide receivers left. Ismail dropping back, or Graves dropping back, throwing sideline.
Yes,
That is a
Johnson.
catch by Antonio Johnson. That is very similar to the touchdown he made in the corner of the end zone last year, when at the last possible bit of real estate, he gets there and meets the football.
An amazing throw and an equally amazing catch. You're going to see it as he crosses over. Good blocking, and he just shreds that. Look at the defensive back. Look at the outstretched hand. And Antonio Johnson, just a great job of making that grab.
That was like that Rugrat catch when he just popped up out of nowhere in the corner of the end zone last year. He stays in the game after a big 1st down catch. And here he comes in motion.
Blitz.
Little counter play. David Walker tripped up. Nice play on the front wall by Brian Vosick, the redshirt freshman from Smithfield, Texas. Tripped up David Walker. That's an excellent tackle.
Got down low, and that's the way you have to take him. He's a little upset on that. I'm sure he wanted to get by there. He only picked up 1 yard. Syracuse got 4:54 left before this halftime. They want to put up 7 more.
Now Syracuse has run 24 offensive plays to 28 for Texas. The wishbone with Ismail in the backfield. 4 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the half. Graves on the option. He'll keep it. Wisdom with the first block, and Graves down to the 16.
He got caught up in a sandwich there with his own guard. Wisdom, a real large blocking surface, trying to get Graves some more room. He comes up about a yard short.
So the true option back in the Syracuse attack today, at least Graves is making himself a threat. Short yardage offense coming on now. The full house backfield look and the double tight end.
I think they got a little tripped up when they used this before. Let's see what they do. Texas got some big people inside.
3rd down and 1. 3:50 to go in the half. It is Walker. He's got the 1st down, carrying it inside the 14-yard line. Lance Gunn pleading his case, where the official maybe thinking he had a shot at stripping the ball. Syracuse marches on. 1st down and 10 now. With 3:40 to go in the half.
Ball security they talk about. It was not a fumble. Won't be called anything except perhaps a close call. You never want to have to make the official make the call. You want to make sure that ball does not squirt out.
Syracuse running primarily to the right side, to the New York State side of the line.
The Empire Court there.
They've got Wisdom, Adams, and Gedney lined up on the right. 3 New Yorkers. Another New Yorker is the center, Reagan. The wide receivers go to the wide side. Counter it back. A collision between Walker and a blocker. Keeps his balance. And he gets shoved out of bounds late. Crowd wants a flag. Bo Robinson was the shover. Walker took the late push on the sideline. Clock stops, however, with 3:15 to go. He did a good job after a near collision in the backfield.
Yeah, they don't look crisp yet, and he's not sure he feels comfortable with that, especially when it didn't work the way it does in practice. We're going to see the end of it.
Lance Gunn with the first hit.
Yep. That was pretty close. Foot was on the line, and they gave him a push. Official right there didn't see it that way.
Ismail and Johnson will both be on the left. Syracuse establishing the running game now, and they give it to the money man Walker. Gets inside the 10 to about the 8.
I think Winfred Tubbs, the linebacker, shot in there. They tried to trap him, couldn't get a block on him and knock him out of the way, and Tubbs filled in admirably, and it's going to bring up third and about 6. Oh, a big question for Syracuse.
On the Syracuse sideline, Bob Casulo, Kevin Rogers, David Mitchell, the running backs coach. Or maybe Kevin Rogers isn't there. Here's John Mackovic on the far side.
They have to get to the 5.
3rd down and 5, split backs, Percucci and Walker. Marvin can run that quarterback draw on this part of the field, but he's looking end zone. Johnson can't hold on. Brady Cavness with the coverage. And they'll send the field goal team on now.
He had to wait a little long, and Antonio Johnson not able to come up with another miracle as Cavness was playing defense for Texas.
Now Syracuse looking to up the lead to 6 points. You'd like to get the touchdown in there because it puts you beyond the 1 touchdown margin. 26-yard kick out of the hole of Mason. Biskup's kick is on the way, and it's good. John Biskup is hit on both field goal attempts, and Syracuse has a 13-7 lead. We'll be back with the Texas reception of the kickoff, and 2:23 to go in the first half right after this. Drive Pulcher and Dan Horde, 3D. 13-7, Syracuse leading Texas. And Pat O'Neill will kick it off from his 35-yard line. He'll put it on the left hash mark. First time a Southwestern Conference team has ever come into the Dome. 1967, the last time Syracuse played a team from that conference, and they beat Baylor 7-0. David Walker is Syracuse's leading ball carrier, 32 yards on 10 carries. Richardson with 16 on 3. Marvin Graves has completed 4 of 7 for 81 yards. The deep man, the return man, is Adrian Walker. O'Neill puts this one to about the 3-yard line, and Walker will get a chance. Walker ran into his own blocker, and he carries up to the 28-yard line. Ran right up the back of Van Malone, a wedge breaker on offense. Paul Pasqualoni signaling the defense who he wants in and who he wants out. Bryce Bevel will stay in. Matt Greco in as well. They've got the pass defense in with 2 minutes and 17 seconds to go.
They got Mitchell and Brown on the inside, down as tackles, Conley on an end as a linebacker, and Hawkins on the other end.
Texas have been playing football now for 100 years. Only 4 times have they opened the season with back-to-back defeats. Gardere on the play-action fake. They looked like they were holding on Mitchell. His toss is incomplete. And Syracuse had a chance at the ricochet interception. Man, it looked like they were holding Mitchell.
Yeah, it sure did. There were 2 guys, because he gets 2 guys all the time, and he responded there. He broke through the double team, but somebody had a handful of jersey.
I think the crowd on the far side particularly was yelling about that.
Womack's in. See if he might blitz.
2 wide receivers to the left side, Neal and Lovell. They run the draw play. Phil Brown.
Nice tackle by Glenn Young.
Young was on the bottom, and then Matt Greco over the top. Hurry up offense here with 2 minutes to go. Now under 2 minutes. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 6. And now Texas will huddle up. Syracuse has some timeouts to take. Justin McLemore and Mike Adams are flanked left from the shotgun. A conservative rush. Gardere flushed out now. Gardere throws on the run, and the catch is made by Pinckney. Knocked out of bounds in Syracuse territory at the 48-yard line. Tony Jones knocked him out. Good job by Gardere.
Absolutely. He is an impressive kid. he doesn't get rattled, and they're starting to put the pressure on him, and he has responded well and made a pressure connection with Pinckney on that play. 1:24 left.
Another third down conversion. 6 out of 8 for Texas. Minute 24 to go. A minute 24. Gardere getting outside pressure. Hit as he throws. Garland Hawkins got the hand on him, I do believe.
Yeah, Garland Hawkins up on top, got to him, and what are they going to say here? Ball goes right to the line of scrimmage.
That ball was up for grabs, so twice now on this Texas drive, a ball was up for the taking. Watch 95.
Yeah, the defensive end on this side makes the move outside. Gardere not able to step up because 95 had him by the back, and a Reimer was blocking on him. Not able to hold in Garland Hawkins.
Minute and 18 seconds to go. That was ruled an incomplete pass.
Right.
Syracuse, Glenn Young ducking in, faking the blitz. They run the inside handoff to Phil Brown, and from behind, Conley got to him first. Dan Conley with the stop. Now with a minute and 7 seconds to go, Texas is going to go without a huddle.
It'll be 3rd and 8.
Conley lines up on the far left. The shotgun. Hawkins coming in. They block him well. The throw is up in the air, and it is dropped off the hands of Matt Greco. Another football that Syracuse could have pulled out on this drive.
Those are the ones that kill you when you look in the films. They do tip drills just for that particular occasion, but they were not able to get to that one, and Gardere is going to take a leave here as it's going to be 4th down.
48 seconds to go. The clock is stopped. Texas has an interesting decision to make now. They can afford to take a delay of game penalty here because they're going to be punting the ball and gives them a little more room to operate. They rush on the field. Now they're into a punt formation, ostensibly.
Shelby Hill gets back as a single safety.
A low snap, and McClanahan punts it high. Hill, fair catch. He makes it at the 15-yard line. Syracuse will have 42 seconds to work with in this first half. Let's see if they go for the strike.
That's an interesting call, isn't it? What would you do?
Gary Farrell will be in. He's a deep threat.
I bet you they run first.
Richardson will be in with Marcus Lee in the backfield.
30-yard punt.
Padre Ismail will be in. I believe Syracuse has their full complement of timeouts. Farrell comes out now. And the fullback is Wooten. So you got Hill left, Ismail right. They guard them face to face right off the line of scrimmage. Joey Ellis now relaxing. Syracuse on the ground with Wooten. Crowd gives you their reaction.
Yeah. Well, the ball's on the 15-yard line. They want to just throw it up and then have the clock stop and have to punt from down there.
They may have to run only one more play. Then again, they might not. 20 seconds on the clock. They haven't even started the play clock yet.
They're out of here.
So they won't have to run another play.
That's right.
And Syracuse here will head to the locker room with a 13-7 lead over Texas. And we'll head to halftime. Back with the Coors Light halftime highlights and our Super Sports coverage after this. Very well, neither team setting the world on fire in the passing department.
Penalties pretty even. Let's look for Syracuse maybe to open up that passing game a little bit in the second half.
Penalties very few. One was sort of a strange call against Syracuse, an offside encroachment penalty that we'll have to get an explanation on later, but that's the halftime statistical story. Syracuse in the lead at 13-7. And our man on the sideline is Dan Horn.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. This is a game in the Carrier Dome where there's probably never been more orange than Syracuse wears orange and Texas wears the burnt orange. You can tell what fans are rooting for which team, judging by, obviously, the kinds of things they're chanting. But there is one fan in the Carrier Dome today who's having a hard time with this. He is Dave Goldberg. He was a student here at Syracuse in the 80s in his undergrad years. Now he is a law student at Texas. The obvious question, Dave, who the heck are you rooting for?
Well, as Captain Renault said in Casablanca, I blow like the wind. I have a Syracuse shirt for when Syracuse is in the lead, and I have a University of Texas Longhorns shirt for when Texas is in the lead. It's safe for me to just say, go Orange.
And it's obvious he's going to make an excellent lawyer, isn't it? Enjoy the second half. I guess you will, no matter who wins.
Thank you, I will.
All right, there you have it from former SU student, current Texas student, Dave Goldberg. Back to Dave Cohen up in the booth.
Okay, thank you, Dan. And we got a good look there, the difference between the burnt orange of Texas and the real orange of Syracuse. Now, in case you're wondering who's in for how long, you see the way the running backs break down. David Walker far and away is in for the most snaps. Richardson has played some at tailback. We haven't seen Dardar. 3 fullbacks used in the first half by Syracuse. That's the running back story.
You know, we might talk defensively. JoJo Wooden turned in a tremendous first half. Had a couple of sacks.
Here's the reception committee. Chris Gedney's been in on every play. Ismail 20 times, but nobody with more than 1 reception. Syracuse will receive to begin the second half. They deferred their option at the start of the game. Syracuse 13, Texas 7. As we get set to go on our Super Sports coverage, here's Scott Scheretti, left footer, junior college transfer from Fullerton Junior College, on the ground, the squib. Ismail gets a chance from the 20. Can he crank it up? Upended on a very nice tackle at the 40-yard line, brought down by Eric Jackson, a spare wide receiver. So an excellent open field tackle. Here is how Syracuse started. And the results in the first half on their 5 possessions. That's all they had it for in the first half. Ismail with a total of 58 yards of all-purpose yardage. Now third in all-purpose yards. 3,000. 11th best all time. Texas is 5 men up close. And Graves on the counter play to David Walker, using the spin move, and he got about 5 yards.
They are putting a lot of people on the line of scrimmage, shut down the Syracuse running game. Bo Robinson, number 45, was angled in as a left end up on the top of the screen. They ran away from him to the left side, and we said earlier they had been running somewhat to the New York State side of the line, but they went left there and picked up about 5.
A touchdown on this opening drive would give Syracuse a 20-7 lead. Just about a 2-touchdown lead. That's what they're striving for as they send Shelby Hill to the right. Texas with 5 men up close. Graves with the option back to Walker. Got a block out of the backfield by Ismail, and David Walker gets a first down.
Texas strung that out, but not before Walker picked up 6 yards. They needed 5.
One thing about being a wide receiver at Syracuse, you've got to block. And Qadri Ismail sprung David Walker on that play.
Anthony Curl, there's Robinson, 45. Watch him come down inside. He's the option man. They're not going to block him. They're going to let him go after Graves. Now, the pitch is at the top. There's a block that helps bring him. Not a sensational-looking block, Dave, but all you got to do is get the body out of the way, and it was very successful.
Ismail occupied Grady Cavness. Now Ismail back into the wishbone. Here is the pitch back, and the option from the left-hander, Ismail. Waiting. He didn't have a man open, so he's going to try to run it. And he keeps his balance, and he takes a vicious hit at the 45-yard line. A very good decision by Qadri Ismail because they had Shelby Hill double covered, and he could not wait for Hill to clear the second man. A very wise decision.
I don't hate to disagree. They had him like quadruple covered. Nobody fell for that. They were waiting for that play. For some reason, they had everybody back there. There was only one receiver out, and they had him all covered the whole way down the field. So Ismail able to get about 4.5 yards out of that. Give him credit.
That would have been Qadri's first pass, and you saw that he is left-handed. Got to ask Qadri which pair of contact lenses he has in, the soft or the gas permeables. Ismail or make it Graves on the option pitch, and David Walker does the safe thing and cover up for a big loss. That ball goes across the midfield line. Good penetration that time, forced a quick and errant pitch.
That was just out of the outstretched hands of Walker, but you're right, it was not a good pitch. And Walker, as you said, also did the smart thing. He covered it up, but Syracuse has third and about 13. This is the one you want to convert.
They bring in Antonio Johnson, and they go to a one-back with Wooten. They have not shown the screen pass yet. Ismail, foot race to the corner, and he gets hog-tied and brought down at the 36. But it is a Syracuse first down, and that is the play that Ismail dropped in the first half on what would have been a sure touchdown.
Watch him. They had man-to-man. They backed off him up at the top, and now he comes up under the linebackers. There's a crossing pattern with Gedney. The official helps pick off one of the defensive backs or linebacker, and then Ismail, as you said, it was a race. Gunn is the last man to make the tackle, and the big 6'5" safety brings him down, but not before he picked up a first down.
That's a good pattern because he can pick his man off.
Yeah.
Or in a pass-off defense where you pass assignments off. It's tough to do, to have consecutive people guard Ismail. 1st and 10 now, back at the 36. Short side run, and that is the fullback, Al Wooten, who scored a touchdown earlier. Syracuse leads it 13-7, the opening drive of the second half, and they've had the football now for 3.5 minutes.
That was a big third down. That really had to pick up the offense, give them some confidence. They had a play that everybody knew about. They couldn't convert on, and then they had the bad pitch, and then they come back and pick up that crucial first down. Now they've got about 7 more for another first down.
Johnson and Hill to the right. Walker behind Wooten. Reverse pivot, and Graves on a short side keep. And a nice spin ahead to the 30-yard line. Marvin moving with much quicker feet.
They had Garza. They had like a 4-2. The third man in the 4-3, I think, was kind of shadowing somebody, Marvin Graves, on that particular play. But it's a defense where you can send people and just have them fly with a guy like Marvin Graves to make sure he doesn't turn up inside his seam. Doug Womack comes in at quarterback.
The Texan Doug Womack, the designated option quarterback, is in. First time this year. Wide side of the field is to the right, to the top of the screen.
Will he pitch it?
Is he heading that way? You'll soon know.
You know he's not going to throw it.
He fumbles it, gets it back on the reverse, off the hands of Hill. Texas in pursuit. Texas is going to get it, perhaps.
Yes.
A disastrous play. Texas gets it at the midfield stripe. Womack decided to pitch as he was being pulled down, and Texas gets it back at the 50-yard line. Syracuse leading it 13-7.
Now you know what they're telling the Texas offense. Let's take advantage of this. Look at this mistake they made. You guys are going to get this ball game. It just did not get into his hands right. It looked like a good snap, but you see him going down and making the pitch. And then the pitch was nowhere near David Walker.
And we have a timeout. Texas gets the ball back on a big break. We'll be right back after this. Minutes and 1 second. Doug Womack in for his first play of the year at quarterback. Did not get the exchange and then tried to pitch it as he was being pulled down. He stays in on defense. Texas gets the ball at the midfield line. Lavelle Pinckney is to the left. Mike Adams is to the right. Syracuse has a lead of 13-7. And Gardere on the play action is going Pinckney's way. He's got it.
Same play they ran before.
Dan Conley coming back, makes the stop on Pinckney all the way down to the 26-yard line. Lavelle Pinckney out of Washington, D.C. Here's the fumble again.
Let's see where the ball comes up. Right there you can see that he never really had his hands on it. And you know, I know they work it in practice, but this is almost looks like he's down there.
Dwayne Bassick had the hands around Womack. Now Texas, Adrian Walker will get a block from his quarterback. And Joseph tried to take him on. Look how strong Walker is. Gardere did a good job of throwing a block.
Walker cuts back every time he gets the ball. You got to be aware of that guy.
23-yard line of scrimmage. It's second down and 4 for Texas. A touchdown and an extra point would put them in the lead. We're in the third quarter. Syracuse, the number 9 ranked team in the country. Benny Neal left. Jason Burleson is right. Gardere gets time. Batted in the air and dropped by Kevin Mitchell. Should have had it. No doubt about it. Should have had it.
Mitchell, a big play defensively, though. We saw him do it against Boston College last year, 2 years ago.
A couple years ago, had an interception and a 22-yard return. That was back in 1990, but he should have had that one. That's about 4 in the game that Syracuse has had a play on. They picked off one by Bob Grosvenor.
They've had Gardere hooked a couple times. He's gotten away from a sack by Wooden. Now they want the fans to get into it as they have been somewhat quiet.
They do respond. And the Southwestern Conference officials respond to the timeout call taken by Texas. So we'll be back in the Dome. Syracuse leading by 6 right after this. Down and 4. Texas has been very successful on their third down conversions. 6 out of 9 in the game. 9.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Out of the shotgun, Gardere. He has time. He's got a reception. And it is going to be, I believe, a first down for Texas. The underneath pass, Justin McLemore with the catch.
They didn't need much, and they got it. Todd right there to make the tackle, but not before they got the first down.
Here's a rundown on what the referee can do when the crowd becomes extremely noisy. And now it is a Texas first down with 9 minutes and 12 seconds to go. Texas looking for the go-ahead score. Adrian Walker on the cutback. And he is deep into Syracuse territory now, inside the 10. Doing a job, Adrian Walker.
Very shifty. Watch the cutback we talked about. When he gets the ball, they pull out right side of the line. They trap up inside. And watch him go. Watch him step. Then he cuts back. He gets tackled, but he is a shifty runner. They've got to get about 2 more yards for a first down.
Kurt McDonald is the center. Adrian Walker, 64 yards, 11 carries. Now the Longhorns. Going to give it to Walker again. He's hit. He is driving. He is in. Touchdown, Texas. Adrian Walker has, for the moment, tied this game up at 13 apiece.
Walker, the workhorse. See him tiptoe up there, then he cuts. He waits for his blocking. It's a nice block by 58. And then good balance. Adrian Walker into the end zone. That was Boyd on the block, number 58. And Adrian Walker picks up point 13.
Now Scott Scheretti trying to put Texas up by 1. And he does. So we have 8:15 to go in the third quarter. And after the turnover by Syracuse, Texas takes a 14-13 lead. Second lead of the game for the Longhorns. And the Orangemen are not tackling well, particularly against that man, Adrian Walker, 72 yards on 12 carries.
He is the man who is doing almost all the running for Texas. And then when they need it, they shoot the little 5-yard pass. You get another look at Walker from the end zone. Watch him start out to the right. And he bounces off a tackle, goes left. He waits till he gets a set up by Boyd, 58, and into the end zone.
Initially, Alan Luther, the guard on the left side, pulled right, and Walker went behind him and then cut it back. And you see Texas is up by 1 as the missile wants the crowd to get going. predicted each and every time of the game. After the turnover, 50 yards on 6 plays. We should point out on that fumble on the pitch by Womack, that football could have been recovered but not advanced by Texas under the new rule this year. A backwards pass, in effect a lateral, can only be recovered and it can't be advanced by the defense. Everything else can be. Shoretti on the ground. It's squibbing. It was touched upfield and Richardson knocks it out of bounds. Richardson had to make a play on that ball because it was touched, I believe, by one of the up men.
Good squib kick, good strategy. That takes the run back off and gives Syracuse very mediocre field position at the 15-yard line.
First time the goalposts have been painted yellow in the dome. Biskup has found them twice at 2 field goals, but only 1 touchdown by Syracuse. Not a 2-touchdown favorite coming in.
Syracuse has to establish their offense. They had a 90-yard drive before. Now they need an 85-yard drive. I think they really have to cut down on the mistakes.
Qadri Ismail in the game with 1 reception. Here's backside pressure. Gray's pop pass over the middle. Antonio Johnson makes the move at the 40. Hit forward to about the 43, 44-yard line.
That loosened him up a little bit. A little option look pass. Watch him. He go down the line. He makes the fake to Wooten. He's got big Terrence Wisdom out in front of him. Then he, on the run, loops that over the Texas backs who are up. And if Antonio Johnson hadn't had to make a move, David, you know that he would have been gone. Grady Cavness, the corner, really saved that for him.
Now Ismail motions right on 1st and 10. Texas leading 14-13. Here's the give back to Walker. Walker cuts in. Adams blocked. Now he cuts back the other way, and he's going to be pulled down from behind. Bo Robinson had the play come back to him.
Robinson's got 4 solo tackles and 1 assist so far, and he has been very active.
Here's how the missile has been launched in the game. A total of 78 yards. Qadri came in needing 137 to surpass 4,000 yards in total offense. And here is a dump-off pass. Ismail hit as the ball was coming his way, and he holds on.
They didn't get anything.
A dangerous pass.
It was a similar pass to the one they used before, except it was closer to the line of scrimmage. There were a lot of people there, and he did not have any chance to shake loose. Watch 45 at the top of the screen. Right up there, and now he's going to come back. He went out in motion, and he comes back, and you could see that they had the play diagnosed. They were watching for him.
Syracuse 4 out of 7 in 3rd down conversions. Here's another one now.
Big 3rd down play.
Gary Farrell is in the game. 1 back protecting. Is it enough? Ismail floats it. Nobody was there. Or Megan Gray is floating it, that is. And it was over the head of Gedney as Ismail was cutting to the near sideline.
Now, this defense is going to be put back in the position. They're going to have to do something, and O'Neill's got to do it first. He had a bad punt in the first half.
So now the momentum squarely on the shoulders of Texas as they capitalized on the turnover. Mike Adams is back to take the punt of Pat O'Neill. Texas has 8 men at the line of scrimmage. The personal protector is Brian Picucci. High snap. O'Neill with a wobbler off to the side. The bounce will be important. It takes a Texas bounce. So as Syracuse comes back on the field defensively, Texas has a 1-point lead. Let's go to Dan Horde on the sideline.
All right, Dave and Dale, we have a special guest, Syracuse basketball player Lawrence Moten, the former high school football star. It looks to me like you're itching to get out there and play for Syracuse in this sport, too.
Well, not really. It was a good year playing, 4 years in high school, but it's totally roommates, Al Room and Marvin Gregg. It's kind of tough right now, but we'll come out with the win, no question about it.
We'll get back to Lawrence in a second.
On the draw play, Gardere on the handoff to Adrian Walker. That time very short yardage, but even so, Texas had some good line surge about 10 yards downfield.
Young and Mitchell up for that tackle for Syracuse.
Dan Horde, you might tell Lawrence's coach is watching this game, so if he has any ideas, Jim Boeheim would come flying out of the stands and tackle him.
Well, I don't know about that, but there is one other question I would like to ask him, and that is, how did you get Lovell Pinckney? How did you let him get away from Syracuse and go to Texas?
Oh, man, I know. He's looking really good out here, It's always good to see someone play, even well on, just from your hometown. Even though he's on the opposite team, he's playing pretty well, but we don't want him to play too good.
All right, thanks for joining us, and best of luck this basketball season.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
That was Roderick Walker, the other Walker, who dropped the ball that he should have caught in the flat, and now it's 3rd down and 9 coming up for Texas. Now let's see if Syracuse changes it up defensively. They do, Dale.
Need we say that this is another important 3rd down? They've got to get some momentum back. They've had some mediocre punting and some disastrous offense.
Bryce Bevel in the game as the nickelback. Matt Greco comes in as a linebacker. Out came Todd. And here's the rush. Conley on the rush. It is caught. It's going to be a Texas touchdown. Lovell Pinckney going all the way. There's a flag down. There's a flag down.
I think it's against Syracuse.
And Lovell Pinckney goes all the way. 74-yard touchdown catch and run by Lovell Pinckney. It is a Texas touchdown. Peter Gardere throws his 2nd touchdown of the game, and that man who got away, got away.
Just as we were talking about him, out of the shotgun. Let's see what Gardere does. There's the snap. There's a twist. No pressure. And he's just inside, right down on a post pattern. And
Womack had the last shot at him.
he actually interfered with him. That was what the penalty was.
Lovell Pinckney goes 76 yards. And Texas now has a 20-13 lead. 5 minutes and 9 seconds to go. 2 touchdown passes by Peter Gardere. And this one is turning into a shocker. Big extra point now.
Yeah.
Scott Chiaretti's kick is up and good. Obviously, it now puts Syracuse in the posture of having to go for 2 if they are fortunate enough to score here in the 3rd quarter. Or maybe not. But if later it comes down to it, they might have to go for 2. 21-13, Texas leading Syracuse.
Texas has also been, if you're looking ahead to the kickoff, successful in that squib kick. Syracuse getting the ball last time on their own 15-yard line. So Syracuse looking to get a little bit better field position.
Paul Pasqualoni on the other sideline will personally address his defense.
There's no linebacker, coach. And they are having problems with that play over the middle with the wide receivers from Texas.
And the middle was vulnerable last week as well at East Carolina. Different situation. And there is the personal touch from Coach P. Next week, the Ohio State Buckeyes are here. Apparently was there was a penalty on the touchdown, assessed now 15 yards on the kickoff.
So that'll solve their problem. They'll just kick it out of the end zone.
So Chiaretti will kick off at the midfield line.
Ball is being kicked from the 50-yard line. Richardson is now back at quarterback.
And Chiaretti boots it into the stands. That one traveled about 70 yards on the fly. Here's another look at it. Watch Pinckney. Number 8 80.
See how he comes across here. It is the shotgun formation. He's going to be up the top of the screen there, just visible. And he is going to go right for the post, right for the goal post. He comes off. Back comes off with him. Womack turns. Just no help inside from a safety, and that's the other corner chasing him. So when he beat Womack, he beat the defense.
Where were the safeties? Were they up close to the line? Were they coming on third down?
They were up tight and not able to get back.
Syracuse has a little confusion as they get set offensively in the wishbone set. Gedney's on the tight end right. Texas leading by 8. 5 minutes, 9 seconds to go, third quarter. Marvin Graves on the option back to Ismail. They had it played well. Ismail breaking free. Ismail still going, and he is up across the 35-yard line. The missile out of the backfield.
Once again, Walker set the tone with a nice lead block, and Ismail caught up inside of it.
15-yard run by Kadri. He now has 94 yards total. All-purpose yards, that is. Rushing, receiving, returning. A Syracuse first down. Hill and Johnson. There's a straight handoff to Walker. That was a quick hitter. This quarter.
1 yard pickup, second and 9.
John Makovic had a record of 30-16 and 1 tie in 4 years at Illinois, 4 years at Kansas City of the Chiefs, 30-34. 3 years at Wake Forest, he was 14-20. Big draw, and the home run ball for Gedney.
That's interference.
No flag.
Oh.
Gedney thought Lance Gunn had him around the ankles.
I thought he did too.
So the tight end going deep and through his hands.
A nice play call. They got those 8 guys bunched up in there over the football. They thought they might break him down the middle.
Lance Gunn defending on that play. He's the senior out of Houston with 9 career interceptions.
Now you got to shake it off and get this first down so you don't have to have the defense go back out.
Third down and 9. Pacucci, the lone setback. He's protecting for Marvin. His throw is caught by Hill. He's got a first down, a change of direction. Lance Gunn, the last man, brings him out at the 23-yard line, and then a flag after the play. A flag after the play thrown on the sideline.
I think that's against Gunn.
Shelby Hill with a great change of direction after the catch. Now let's listen to our referee. Face mask.
May only be 5 yards.
Doyle Jackson is the referee. Shelby Hill is the quickest of the Syracuse players, at least in the 40-yard run.
This is a big one.
Half the distance. Malicious. With intent.
Premeditated, even.
And perhaps a makeup for the last call. The last non-call. Some would argue that. Good look at Kyle Adams looking in on Marvin Graves. Marvin wants the crowd to quiet down. Ismail gets man-to-man coverage from Grady Cabinets. They're into the Texas end of the dome now. That's Kerry Farrell in motion. David Walker, spin move, finding running room. He gets inside the 10 on that carry.
Good penetration by Tubbs, the middle linebacker.
Eric Chenoweth, the Texas product, will come in. And Syracuse may show a double tight end set.
They're making it tough to run inside. They are putting a lot of people up inside from end to end.
3 yard pickup, second
They got 3 on that.
Second down now at about 7. Graves has run the football very well today. Chenoweth was not tight. Walker gets bottled up and taken down from behind. No, he's still going. And he gets back to the 10-yard line. It'll be about a half a yard loss. I thought for sure he was going to be taken down by James Lane.
Boy, they are getting some penetration there. They are getting to the point of attack, the Texas defense, and they are forced. He is not normally, Dave, that kind of a runner. So it's another third down situation. Syracuse can get a first down. They got to get just inside the 3 to get the first down.
Shelby Hill goes left. Kerry Farrell right. Split backs. Pacucci and Walker. Straight drop by Marvin with a couple of different options. And he may elect to run it or throw it. End zone. Touchdown. Kerry Farrell on the comeback. His second touchdown catch of the year.
They want to get him out of the end zone. They want to set up an extra point. Marvin Graves wants him out of there.
Now the question is, do you go for 1 or do you go for 2? It is still third quarter, 21-19. If you go for 2 and you miss, you're still winnable on a field goal. If you go for 1, it doesn't do you much good, does it?
No.
So they will go for 2. 21-19.
Now, this is a play that they have worked on. You know they have one of these. This is not just something they made up. Let's see what they've come up with.
Hill right, his mile left. You got to go 3 yards to get 2 points. It's the pitch back to Walker. He wants to throw it back to the end zone. Too far for Marvin. He got it. It looked like it would go out of the end zone, but Marvin saved it. How did he haul that one in?
Is he all right? Look at this. He went up. People are...
Hey, this is only the third quarter.
Look at... They got to get somebody down there. They got to get a crane to get him out. Look at, they knocked the whole row of the bleacher fell down there. It looked like...
Marvin Graves.
Let's see if we can see it. Marvin Graves pitches it to Walker, which is a normal situation, but this isn't. Walker tries to sell the option run, turns around and loops it to Marvin Graves, who is now headed for the end zone. Concentration, hands, yes.
He may have got a break. He may have gotten a break. It looked like that ball did hit the turf at the back of the end zone.
I think Marvin is hurt. John Reagan, you see number 75 is there.
That's Dr. Bruce Baker looking in on Marvin Graves. We're told the railing did definitely break in the first row of the stands. Dan Hort is on the scene.
All right, Dave, it looks like they're checking a Marvin's neck. It doesn't appear...
Oh, the fans. There were people leaning frontwards, and they just... The whole thing fell down on top of Marvin Graves.
They were checking the flexibility of his neck.
Marvin with a spectacular effort in hauling in that pass. The replay showed the ball, I believe, did come loose and hit the turf. The referee shielded on the play, or the official in that area ruled it a catch. Very similar to the one that Chris Gedney had in the first game last year. But then the near catastrophe is the railing gives way.
Let's see. No. Here's the touchdown pass. Marvin scrambling. He didn't have it what he wanted. And Kerry Farrell, he's directing traffic. And Kerry Farrell did a great job of getting open and running a pattern. And he drilled that ball to Farrell.
Marvin is a little woozy as he walks off now.
Those helmets are pretty tough, but you're not supposed to have a...
The fans surge forward, and the weight of the fans caused that rail to give way. It's a good thing that was on the ground level and not in the second deck.
Whoa.
Or the third deck.
He was really trapped underneath.
Syracuse and Texas are tied at 21 each. Syracuse getting a break in more ways than one. About 3 different ways. And here is Pat O'Neill's kickoff that is heading right to the same area of the field, and it's going to be caught for a touchback in the end zone. Adrian Walker downs it. Well, they got a break on the catch. There was a break of the rail and then a break that Marvin was not hurt.
Whoa. You talk about an exciting football game. They don't get any better than this, do they?
And we've got a whole quarter plus 2 minutes of this third quarter left. 21-21.
Well, let's see if the defense can match the offense there for some excitement. What do you... Yeah, I scored a couple of points and the railing fell on my head.
And a few dozen fans.
Yeah, right.
Texas had dominated this third quarter. What a wild third quarter it's been. Here is Adrian Walker on the sweep. Garland Hawkins got a hand around his chest. Almost got the face mask, but he made the stop.
Garland Hawkins has played well. He had 1 sack.
It's going to be interesting to see if Syracuse has made any adjustments as a result of that hands-on coaching by Paul Pasqualoni.
Here's another look at the fans trying to reach Marvin, and there it goes. Amazing.
21 all. Gardere on the drop back. Nearly intercepted by Dwayne Joseph. Over the back of Duke, the intended receiver. Derek Duke, a senior out of Houston, and Dwayne Joseph timing that break up perfectly.
And just like that, it brings up a critical third down for Texas as far as momentum is concerned. 1:17 left to go in the third quarter.
You would hope, for the sake of fairness, that this game does not come down to a 2-point situation. Obviously, there is no replay,
and it happens, you know, football. We saw it. You know how fast that happened, Dave, down there? I mean, it's almost impossible for somebody to make that kind of a call.
Peter Gardere, the quarterback, dropping back into the shotgun. He's had himself a good day. 9 of 18 and 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. Another completion.
Yes.
Jackson breaking away, stiff-arming Jones, and he got away from his tackle.
Boy,
another big third down conversion.
But able to come up with that play, this time from the right side of the formation.
Eric Jackson, a junior out of Corpus Christi, with that catch.
A big play for Texas. And we came in, they said Gardere threw a lot of interceptions, but he's had only 1 today, and he has been drilling the ball when he needs to on third down.
7 out of 10 is Texas on third down. Here's the play-action fake by Gardere, sideline pattern. There's his man, Phil Brown. It takes 2 to bring him down.
It's about a 7-yard pass.
Very nice offense dissecting Syracuse. Phil Brown, the reception that time, a junior out of Commerce, Texas. 25 passing plays, 22 running plays by Texas. And 21-21 is the score with 21 seconds to go in the third quarter.
And needless to say, nobody's left yet.
It's been a while since Syracuse has gotten to Gardere. From behind, Conley tripped up Adrian Walker. He just got enough room to bring him down.
Let's see where they spotted it. Might still be short of the first down. He crawled over But it is not a first down.
And that is the end of the third quarter. And what a wild one it was. We're tied at 21. Shelby Hill involved with Joey Ellis. Remember the previous play when he thought Ellis interfered with him?
Yeah, Ellis had his right arm around him. Now Antonio Johnson runs out of the slot, and then watch him get him right by the jersey and tries to get a better grip, but he can't. And you'll see the tail end of the play as he's heading downfield. He's waiting for Antonio Johnson to set up a block for him. He cuts back to his right. Good play. Right there is Antonio Johnson.
Shelby Hill from Phoenix. Here is an inside handoff and hard charging straight ahead. David Walker, Mr. Money. One of the New York products from Rochester. And he can pick a team up and put it on his shoulders. He's got them fired up now.
Yep, well, they have to be, but they have to be very cognizant of not making mistakes. That was a big play to Shelby Hill. Texas was picking up defensive momentum.
Syracuse went unbalanced, I think, to the right side, and Walker takes on the tackler.
He's down inside the 5 to about the 4.5.
Looked to me like they had an extra blocker on the right side that time. Let's check that offensive line out, Dale.
They have an unbalanced look.
And Chuck Bull lined up outside of the right tackle, Kyle Adams, and they go that way again. They've got a guard and 2 tackles on the right side. But they go left, and Al Wooten's to the 2-yard line. Now they'll bring Chenoweth and Richardson in. Syracuse knocking on the door, trying to get the lead back in this game. They were down 21-13. Right now it's 21-all. Texas playing a whale of a football game.
You know, people said when you got the lowdown on Texas, they said the defensive line is kind of a question mark. You know, the secondary is good, but the defensive line and linebackers, I think, have played very well for Texas.
This time Chuck Bull lines up as the left tackle. They've got double tight ends. Getney right, Chenoweth left.
And they're listening. Marvin Graves is changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
Both the left tackle and the fullback move.
That was the mistake that you had to be worried about if you were Syracuse. Because it's now goal to go, and you're 5 yards back. And now if you're 65, Chuck Bull, you say, all right, settle down.
Maybe Chuck liked it better on the right side there. He earned the start. Actually was announced as a starter just minutes before the East Carolina game out of Leominster, Massachusetts. Doesn't get much easier the next couple of weeks. Ohio State and then at Louisville. Johnson right, Ismail left. Graves has the wide side to the right. He's run well in the game. Second down, 7. He goes short side. He's going to keep. And he gets to about the 3. And now a couple of interesting calls coming up.
Well, do you want to make sure that you keep it where your field goal kicker can kick it, or what?
They want to get into the end zone now on 3rd down and 3.
They surely do.
Chenoweth started off the field. He'll stay in. Al Wooten is coming out.
The linebackers are standing there, both linebackers, 2 linebackers right over the center, and they are just flying to the football.
It is a one-back offense with just Walker there. This happened once last year, and Syracuse took a big sack. Chenoweth almost the H-back. Graves on a bootleg. Does he have a man in the end zone? Incomplete on the comeback, and there's the marker. Into the pile late as Ismail was interfered with in the end zone.
I'll tell you what, they're going to say that this is not a catchable ball. What's the...
This is a Southwest Conference crew. Ineligible receiver.
Against Syracuse. Chris Gedney, by the way, was wide open on the left. Watch Gedney, if you see it at the top of the screen on the left-hand side. And then he's going to roll right. Looked like he had that throw back. The pit play looked like he wanted to throw it back. And Adams looked, perhaps he was downfield.
So now it will be a straightaway field goal attempt coming up for John Biscup with 7:36 to go. He's already made 2. This is virtually an extra point.
Oh, they're still talking down there.
Kevin Mason has come on to hold. Let's listen to the official, our referee.
Receiver downfield. The pass was incomplete. 4th down.
It wouldn't have made any difference if he found Gedney anyway, I guess. Right now, they got to find the area between those 2 yellow uprights.
And Syracuse has regained the lead at 24-21. So we'll be back with 85 pass plays and run the ball 24 times. Pat O'Neill is on to kick off. O'Neill has had a less than stellar day by his own exceptional standards. 2 quarterbacks have done well.
This is the important strategy right here. There's the man that put him on top, John Biscup. But the man that's going to do it right now with his foot is O'Neill. He puts on the right hash mark. He has got to get it out of that end zone. Make sure they do not get a run back. Don't let him out beyond the 20. That's the thought. He's done it plenty of times before. Can he do it now with 7:32 left in this game?
And O'Neill wants to pin him deep. They're going to return it from 4 yards deep. That was Brian Pacucci who got the shoulder underneath the return man, Walker.
So Syracuse actually picks up a couple on that. You want it by the 20, you get it on the 17-yard line. So that 3 yards can mean a lot. Let's see what they do. Are they going to come out throwing? Are they going to run the ball? They're on their own 17-yard line.
Obviously, our leading candidate for Pepsi Player of the Game when this one is over has got to be Shelby Hill. Kevin Mitchell wants that crowd to come to life, and they respond. Kirk McDonald is the center for Texas. Jeff Boyd and Alan Luther the guards. Phil Brown in the backfield with Adrian Walker. And Gardere to the air. Maybe. Tucks it in. Ernie Davis Brown brought him down. His dad played in that 1960 Cotton Bowl. He's here in the crowd.
That was a great defensive play, not only by Brown, but by the secondary. They had Gardere's receivers covered. He wanted to go for a quick pass. There was nobody there, and Brown and Wooden collided on Gardere. No gains.
Rovner has had an interception. Syracuse has been beaten for 2 touchdown passes. 2nd down and 10. Lavelle Pinckney matched up with Doug Womack. Gardere gives it to Adrian Walker. Across to the 22-yard line, and here comes another Texas 3rd down play.
And they have been converting them. Let's see if
7 out of 11 so far.
Pinckney's out.
Greco and Bevel come in, the extra linebacker, extra defensive back. They take JoJo Wooden and Chip Todd out.
It's another timeout here. This is official timeout.
Kevin Mitchell coming out of the game on 3rd down.
He's hurt.
Ed Hobson came in. Number 94.
Hobson takes his place.
So your top defensive lineman out of the game from the shotgun. Gardere intercepted by Bryce Bevel. They hit him in a bad spot.
Yeah, right.
The number.
Right between the numbers there. Has he only got 1? He's only got 3, right? Hit it right on that little middle part of the 3. That's all right. He did his job.
Used to be an offensive running back.
Yep. He could have put this one away, though, and the fans roar their approval as Bevel right there. Nice coverage. Intended receiver was Duke.
Darrell Parker in the game on the punt return team.
And the official calls.
May get a new football in the game. Maybe the snapper wants a new football.
Timeout Syracuse.
That's the second timeout that they have taken here in the second half. So Paul Pasqualoni, I don't think is too pleased about that. We'll be right back. Syracuse awaiting the Texas punt. 24-21 is the precarious Syracuse lead. McClanahan waiting at his own 7-yard line. Shelby Hill, the hero of the game for Syracuse, is back deep. He's going to fair catch this at his own 41-yard line. And a late flag thrown in after the play. What's this about?
I didn't see anything untoward.
The side judge threw the flag.
Perhaps he violated that little area there, that zone where you're supposed to be able to. Yeah.
Ed Nettig is the side judge, and he made that call. John Makovic seems to agree.
Unperturbed.
Have you ever seen anybody so composed? Well, he was a former assistant under Tom Landry.
Violation.
Yeah.
It will be first down.
5-yard penalty. Here are some of the long plays in the game. Ismail has the longest run. Pinckney with a long touchdown reception. McClanahan with a long punt, and Adrian Walker with the longest return. Or make that, yeah, it is Adrian Walker. Ismail in the game goes left. David Walker has running room. Marker down, perhaps a hold. They throw it at the foot of Terrence Wisdom.
It's a great block by Jerry Sharp, and that's going to set him back. And that's from the spot of the foul. This could be a large penalty.
You gain 5, and then you lose what?
10.
10, 15? Kevin Mitchell checked out moments ago. Perhaps Dan Horde can tell us what it's about.
All right, Dave, good news for the Syracuse defense. He hurt his hand, but not seriously. It's been retaped, and he should be able to come back in on the next defensive possession.
So now Syracuse is back at their own 39-yard line. The clock is wound down to 5:54. You know Syracuse wants and needs more than a field goal. First down and long, about 16.
You don't have to get it all, but you definitely want to make a good play here.
If you have national championship aspirations, as Syracuse does, these plays are big ones. What was that about? Walker stopped. There was a marker down on the far side.
A whistle blew before he even got there.
We had one strange call in the first quarter, an offside against Syracuse, when it appeared nobody moved, nobody was lined up, nobody made contact.
Boy, they are going backwards. And this is another 5.
Dale, if there's one thing that college sports ought to do, it's get rid of officiating crews in every sport that is assigned or employed by a conference. Let's have one officiating bank for the whole sport, whether it's basketball or football, and end all this nonsense about split crews or bringing in a crew from your home site or your home league.
Syracuse has to get to the 44 of Texas for a first down.
Graves with a pitch to Walker. He turns the corner. Stayed in bounds, so the clock runs.
Picked up a bit of it.
It'll be under 5 minutes by the time Syracuse runs its next play.
Now it's going to be, second and 12, 13. That was a hole they put themselves in. Can they dig themselves out? You got to be cool, and that's the man to do it, Marvin Graves.
Texas with their 4 down linemen. Marvin with with the option look. They go the other way. Walker, nice stutter step. Walker keeps the drive alive. He get up to about the 49-yard line. He'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
So nice blocking up front.
And by the time Syracuse runs their next play, they'll be under 4 minutes.
Incidentally, Tubbs, the linebacker over there, for another tackle for Texas.
It's been a very pleasant afternoon weather-wise. A cool, crisp, late summer day here in the Dome. The heat is no factor whatsoever. Neither is the humidity.
Well, they're under 3, but they got to get a first down. Don't forget, the 44 of Texas is their goal right now.
Under 4 minutes to go from the 49. One back offense, straight drop, and lots of time. Ismail and a sack of Marvin Graves. Ismail running the cross over the middle, and Graves sacked back at the 36-yard line.
Bo Robinson, big play for Texas.
Is that their first sack of the game?
I believe it is the first sack.
Very opportune time, and now the pressure is on Pat O'Neill, who has not punted well. 1 for 12, 1 for 29.
Sack on Syracuse. They have done a good job of protecting him.
Now Syracuse has 3:10 to go in the game. There's 10 seconds on the clock. They'll run it down as much as they can. And now O'Neill, look out, partially blocked. And down by Kerry Farrell at the midfield stripe. I think Farrell was thinking that somebody might sneak up and pick that ball up.
Looked like it might roll a little bit farther.
So Pat O'Neill has his punt partially blocked.
Let's see who gets in. Good snap right up the right side as O'Neill faces it. Is that? We'll check it out. Number 8, that's Van Malone.
Texas down by 3, under 3 minutes to go. Syracuse has only one more timeout left, remember. Gardere in the pocket. And it drop pass at the 45-yard line off the hands of Phil Brown.
Those are the passes they have been using most often. 5-7-yard patterns, and sometimes they've hit Pinckney at about 15 or 20.
Carlos Jackson dinged on the opening kickoff of this game, has not played since.
Let's see if they run any blitz with the inside linebackers.
Benny Neal goes left. Gardere gets time again. He dumps it off. Coverage by Conley. And he brings Adrian Walker down. A loss on the play of 2, and the clock keeps moving. Bevel and Greco are coming in the game in the passing situation. 3rd down coming up.
Conley, 8 tackles, has no tackle more important than that one right there. Boyd could not block him, and he got an arm up.
Those touchdowns were in the 3rd quarter. Texas has converted 7 out of 12 times. Up for grabs, intercepted by Grosvenor, his 2nd of the game. And the return by Bobby Grosvenor from Elmira to the 46-yard line. There is a marker down.
Clip. That's a 15-yard clip against Texas. That's number 2 for Grosvenor, and this one's a lot more important than the other one.
There were several occasions in which the ball was tipped in the air earlier in the game, and Syracuse could not haul it down. There was Bryce Bevel's pass that hit him right on the number 3. Now let's listen to our official.
But that's not a clip. Excuse me, that's an unsportsmanlike or a late. No, against Syracuse? Oh.
Illegal block in the waist, above the waist, by Team Blue.
You should see what happened to Ernie Brown after that play. There may be illegal use of the hands. Ernie Brown took a shot in the back. But see.
There's the deflection. Lavelle Pinckney, the intended man. Tony Jones it is who went up and deflected it.
There's Grosvenor.
And Syracuse, as you watch the replay, has taken their final timeout of the game. Syracuse has taken their final timeout of the game following the penalty assessed on the return by Bob Grosvenor.
Now, I don't know how many timeouts Texas has left. I thought for sure that Syracuse is going to be the beneficiaries of that call.
Did you see Brown is getting what? Clip? But if Texas is on defense, can there be a clip after the interception?
It was unsportsmanlike. I mean, it was unnecessary. Okay. The pile was down, and he just piled into him in the back.
24-21. Syracuse coming back late in that third quarter and then getting the field goal for John Biskup, who's come back with 3 field goals. Marvin Graves conferring with Kevin Rogers. Here's a look at the linebackers on that last play.
Everybody dropping in their zone, and that's the play that they ran before where he runs a little post pattern, and it was tipped. It was too high for Pinckney. And Grosvenor, there was one that was okay. Let me see if Ernie Davis Brown doesn't take a shot. Right there. And there was the flag. I thought for sure that was the penalty.
So Bob Grosvenor comes up with a big pick. And now Syracuse is going to have to play ball control offense for the next 2 minutes and 2 seconds. They cannot stop the clock. They should have real reason to stop the clock.
Well, I know that, but you're right. But what they've got to do is move that ball straight ahead. No losses. Of course, you got to think, geez, well, we'll get it down a little ways, then we'll punt it. They have had problems with the punt today. The last one partially blocked.
Pat O'Neill's punting average going to take a major hit after this game. 12, 29, 31, and 13. Here we go. 2 minutes, 2 seconds left. David Walker on the gallop.
Not much.
Now Texas takes their second timeout. They'll have one more remaining.
Look at this pass.
Here's a reverse angle.
High, tipped by Jones and Grosvenor. Looks like the last guy that played against Texas from Elmira had a good game, and Grosvenor's had a good game.
Yeah. What was the headline after that last game, the Cotton Bowl in 1960?
That was Elmira. Said Ernie Davis 16, Texas 14.
How appropriate.
Quite proud of the Elmira Express, and I'm sure Elmira is proud of Bob Grosvenor out of Notre Dame High School in Elmira. They still have a lot of time left, however. 1:51.
Syracuse looking for their second straight win. Texas staring at their second straight defeat.
This would be a huge win for Syracuse. They have been put under some tough conditions, a bit of adversity. Nice to come back.
John Biskup coming back big.
Right now, they got to get 9 more yards. If they can get 9 yards, that will about do it. Texas has
second
one timeout.
down. Actually, you want to get about 8 on this play. Let the clock run or force them to burn their last timeout, then get the first down.
While we're giving them some advice.
Okay. Why wait till Monday to do the quarterback? Bakuchi is the fullback in front of David Walker. He gets the call. He carries the ball to the 42-yard line, and now Texas takes their final timeout.
Now they need about 6 yards, and Texas is done as far as timeouts are concerned. This has been an interesting game. You've had just about everything you can imagine.
Next week, Texas is home to play North Texas State. fact, Oklahoma and Syracuse are the only non-Texas games remaining on their schedule after Mississippi State. Neither team has a timeout left. Only a first down can stop the clock. What do you think, Dale? Will they go wide on this play, string it out, looking for the first down? Do they dare throw the football?
Do you dare pitch it? Well, we will see. This has been a long enough timeout. They've been able to discuss just about every option.
Well, something that was effective early in this game, the full house backfield, or the wishbone set with Marvin running the ball behind the 3 blockers.
Right. Well, they started the clock already, and they were not even back from their discussions. Let's see. They've got, it's under 20, down to 15 on the clock, and they haven't even gotten to the line of scrimmage yet.
Bakuchi lines up in the eye behind David, in front of David Walker. Big third down play with Syracuse leading by 3. Graves is going to run it. Now he's going to fade back. Now he's going deep for Ismail. What a call! What a catch! On the 1-yard line! Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I said they needed 4 yards. They said, well, we'll just go you 47 better. And he is out in front of 27 again. That's Joey Ellison. What a catch. Watch Ellis. See, this is the inside route. Now, Ellis has got no help to the inside. The ball's got to be perfectly thrown. He's got 2 steps on Ellis. Now you got to make the photographers go wild. What a catch.
What a call. The most unlikely call in that situation. 152 all-purpose yards for Qadre Ismail. Wooten over the top. No sign yet.
Second down.
Minute and 5 seconds to go. Syracuse, one more crack in the final minute of the game. Ismail. George Young, the general manager of the New York Giants, is here. He had to be impressed. Al Wooten, touchdown. And the eyes of Texas are looking at the second defeat at the hands of Syracuse. All time. 28 seconds to go, and Syracuse has opened up a 30-21 lead.
There's the missile. The Rocket's bigger brother. He's got a great smile, doesn't he?
It's going to be a tough choice for the Pepsi player of the game. You got Bob Grosvenor with 2. You got Marvin Graves, who has thrown for 289 yards and 11 out of 18. You got Shelby Hill with a couple of big plays, 118 yards receiving. 31-21, and you got John Biscup, who's kicked 3 field goals and has been perfect on the extra points. So what do you say, Dale? What? The onus is on you.
Oh, yeah, it's always on me. I don't know. I like Ismail.
Marvin Graves ran the attack. He got everybody involved, and he survived the collapse of the rail.
He had a railing fall on his head. So
my vote goes to Marvin.
You know, John Madden would do that just because the railing fell on his head.
What about the yardage he had rushing in the first half?
Yeah, I think we go with Marvin, huh?
Safe way. Quarterback executed, no turnovers, dynamic pass.
Yeah, that last one was just on the money.
I'll tell you, I rate that as one of the most shocking play calls in all the years I've watched Syracuse football.
Was that George DeLeon's call? Was that Coach P's call?
Here it is again. All they needed was, what, 4 yards? And there is the freeze and the fade and the deep throw. And look how long this ball is in the air.
That's up there a while. And what a grab. Concentration, you bet.
Marvin Graves' total offense, 327 yards. I don't think we can go wrong selecting him. I think that's a new career high in terms of total offense. Squib kick by O'Neal. No timeouts left. Malone downs it.
That was the guy you wanted to kick it to, 63.
The Cuse says the flag. So there he is.
Great picture.
Marvelous Marvin, and he was today.
He is number one. What a great job.
Picked up 2 points, too, on that two-point conversion.
That's right. Boy.
Got at least the field goal and the touchdown afterwards.
In the railing.
Yep. Well, I was going to say they took away the possibility of this being a two-point game. Peter Gardere, who's played well, screens one off. And Phil Brown picking up some ground, and he runs out of bounds. 14 seconds to go. Next week, don't forget, it'll be the Ohio State Buckeyes. 2 weeks on the road at Louisville. And once again, we remind those of you watching in New York State, you have a chance to catch that one live on pay-per-view television. Check your local listings.
You know, we said coming in, Dave, that you want to take it to another level and really get the forward pass as a part of their offense, and they have really done well in mixing it up. Syracuse has played very well.
Gardere's completed 13 of 26, 219 yards.
That'll do it.
No timeouts. They can't stop it. And this one is history. Syracuse has defeated Texas 31-21. Coming from behind twice in the game. And there is John McAvick. Let's go down to Dan Hort on the sideline.
All right, thanks, Dave and Dale. You know, these 90s are crazy. The Berlin Wall came down. The railing here at the Carrier Dome came down. Most importantly, from this huge crowd's perspective, the Longhorns went down today. Syracuse with its second consecutive win. And one more challenge coming up in a hurry next week against Ohio State. Back to you.
Well said, Dan. Syracuse with a 10-point win. They had a struggle. They came through, so now they take a 2-0 record into the third game of the season. They're home next week to host the Ohio State Buckeyes, the team they knocked off in the Hall of Fame Bowl last year.
One down, one to go.
Hope you enjoyed it from Super Sports. Now speaking for Dale Drypolzer and Dan Hoare, this is Dave Cohen saying so long from the Carrier Dome at Syracuse. This has been a presentation of Super Sports and Adelphia Cable Communications.